Hello everyone, welcome to the very first episode of the Digital Mittelstand. Today, my first special guest is Anton Kramm from Valial Solution, and we will touch the points like the digitalization in the German small and medium businesses. So it's called Mittelstand. Welcome, Anton, and can you please introduce yourself very shortly?
Yeah, sure. Hello, John. So nice to meet you and to have this call with you. So I'm Anton Kramm. I'm the CEO at Valial Solution and formerly as a manager at the Audi AG. And we work nearly since 30 years in the parts of process digitalization, process execution, optimizing processes and architecture and IT all around these processes. So I think for an introduction, I hope that's enough.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Yes, we all know that you are very experienced, especially in the automotive industry, but also I remember that as we were working more than a year together, I remember you work with a lot of Mittelstand. Maybe without giving the names, can you tell us generally in the small and medium enterprises, how do you see are the German small and medium enterprises, so businesses, digitalized enough, or if not, why? So that will be my first question to you.
Yeah, I think it's not enough. They start with digitalization projects, but in the focus of many of these companies is they have big business since Corona or during Corona starts, and they are completely catched in the daily business. And if they speak about digitalization, most of them says, oh, I have SAP in place or something like that. And that's enough. Yeah, it's not digitalization. And most of the companies don't think about new business models, which will be opened by digitalization. Yeah, you can generate new products, you can optimize your processes. And on that level, yeah, the ideas behind and the strategic planning isn't enough in place. So most of these companies think about hardware, think about infrastructure, but not on processes, small tools, small implementation. And I think that's a big problem. Also a little bit pushed by the government. So they pay for 5G, they pay for internet, something like that, but not on ideas. And digitalization is new ideas. It's not hardware.
Yeah,
that's I think the biggest problem at the moment in Germany here.
Yeah, and as you are also coming from the business process management side, and we think in the business process management perspective, and instead of creating new value with the digitalization, as you said, they caught up with the daily work and what they produce. So instead of increasing the efficiency through digitalization, so instead of increasing, so optimizing their processes, they miss this part of the digitalization, I believe. And what do you think? Why they are not that digitalized? Is it not their first priority, or don't they have enough guidance? So what's the main problem underneath?
I think the focus isn't on digitalization. So the business is running, and to change the business is difficult. And to say, oh, my strategy at the next 5 years is I want a new, more efficient, a more cost-efficient business. What should I do that I can reach these goals? And at the moment, what we see is it's daily work. Do what you do the last 30 years. And that's not digitalization. And on the other hand, it can be very, very complex. If you think digitalization is hardware, then you need many experience. If you say, I want to optimize and digitalize my processes, then this is more a business side. It's not a business side to understand how can I use IoT? How can I use new ways of hardware, of firewalls, and so on, and many discussions. Also with governmental guys and so on, that says, okay, let's do hardware. Let's do Breitband in Germany,
Yeah.
And that make it difficult. If you think about IoT and you want to implement this inside your products, inside your company, then digitalization is complex. But on the first level, digitalization should help you to make your processes efficient and invest in IT where it can help, not do the complex, start with the small and fast ROI generating, and this is processes. But that's the second part, a little bit of problem. So the companies not necessarily think in processes. They think in what we do, more on a hourly view. And digitalization also needs a change in the mindset of the employees, but also of the employer, to say, oh, what's new working models? What's new ways to do the daily work? And have a critical view on it, and have a view also from a higher perspective. So not from your daily business. Have a look, say, what's my way in 5 years? What's my position in 10 years? Is my business the real one or not? If you have a look in the United States, for example, what does, for example, Tesla do? He's have no idea about cars in former times, but they say, I want to save CO2.
Yeah.
So how can I support this? And that's the idea. And he do it with digitalization. He do it with software. So and that's a little bit this crazy view on the business future. That's a little bit missing.
Yeah, and yes, if we continue to Tesla example, very simple thing that they have done is they cut out the dealer part. So you can go to Tesla online shop and buy your car. You don't need to go to a car dealer. So it gives the business a bit of agility, also a bit of easiness to roll out. So they don't need to build big dealers in every cities. Let's say if they want to sell in Germany, so they can just say, hey, just order your car online. For example, in Berlin, if you want to see Teslas, you go to one of the centric parts of the city as you are going for, I don't know, clothing shopping, and then you see the cars and you have your car already ordered. And the same goes for the new work. I am sure if we have done this video a year ago, and if I asked, do you think that Germans are ready? Let's say mainly the half of Europe are ready to work from home. This is no, definitely not, because we don't have infrastructure. We will have security problems. But during the pandemic, we have seen that that's quite possible actually, and it's sometimes good to work from home. And it made us maybe 5 years technological advance to be able to work from home. And right now you see that a lot of companies are working from home already.
Yeah, I think this is also partly a German problem. We see the problems and the risks, and not in direct way the opportunities and the potential value. And for us, we are working in technology since 30 years or so. You also, as you start your job. And I think that's the problem, to see technology not as a risk, it's an opportunity. And if you have a look on a neutral way, and not in a oh, it's complicated, it's difficult, it's magic, it's black box, then it's much more easier to say, yes, I use it, I will do it. And that's, in my opinion, the problem we have here at the moment.
Yeah.
With digitalization. Not only in the mid-sized companies, yeah, also in the big companies. It's not a problem from the Mittelstand. It's also a problem from the big companies. There is a good business model. There is a successful business model. Why should I change that if there is no necessity to do it? Yeah.
Yeah. But then Tesla comes and builds a gigantic factory in Berlin, and then you have a threat.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
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 But let's go to the point of the cost, because I think, okay, enterprises, you had a very good point. Enterprises can play around, can take more risks, but Mittelstand doesn't have any chance to take any risk, because they have to be very efficient, especially cost efficient, and unless they are not efficient, they will lose competitiveness. So, but when we say digitalization to the Mittelstand, I think there is a big myth that the digitalization is very costly. So is it really costly, or is it a way to maybe, as you said, to start lean and build step by step their digitalization strategy?
Yeah, I think the first part for digitalization is very cheap. Yeah. Come together, sit together, speak with your employees, what they have in mind, what can help the company. So that's not expensive. Yeah, 1 day, 2 day workshop to find out where they see opportunities, where they see possibilities, also problems, yeah, inside the actual daily work. And then you have the first lean versions of your digitalization strategy. It's not the full picture, but that's not necessary. Start small, yeah, start fast and generate ROI. And then if you get this ROI back, then you can grow and grow with your digitalization strategy. So it's not cheap. You have to invest something in your infrastructure sometimes. But it's not a very expensive step to go on this road, because you can start very, very small with smaller tools, with small technology, use synergy effects with partners, use synergy effects which are available with cloud computing, something like that. It's very expensive if you say, I want to do all in-house.
Yeah.
That's a big, big problem. Yeah. Then you need many resources. You need the right guys. You need the well-skilled people, and you have to invest many, many money also then in infrastructure and hardware, but that's not necessary. Yeah. So start small, pick up efficient process, optimize them, have all time a look. Is there an opportunity for a new business model, for a new market segment, where I'm able then to come in? Yeah, it's not necessarily expensive. You can go step by step, but you have to start, and you have to start, in my opinion, on the first level, very cheap, with an internal workshop. Ask your employees, ask your partners, where can we optimize small things, and start and make that digital, and then it's not expensive.
Yeah, and you said something very, I think, important, that generate ROI as quick as possible, so that with those ROI, you also generate maybe more revenue or maybe less cost. So eventually some more profit, and you can invest this profit coming from your own optimizations to the second step of your digitalization. So I believe it is quite possible to start small, and I think that's a big problem. All companies want to start big, and then they fail big as well. Yeah. If you start small, and in case you fail small. So That's low risk in the beginning. I mean, for established businesses, not definitely for startups, but for established businesses, as you said, a couple of workshops, maybe a consultant or a small boutique consultancy that you bring in, which they have expertise, and they might lead you to my next question would be like, I think the German government announced that they will support the digitalization of the Mittelstand. And as far as I know, there are subsidies available. So one of them is the Go Digital, I believe, from the Ministry of Economy and I think Ministry of Economy. So is it also possible to get some support from the government?
Sure, definitely. So the program you describe is one, there are many. So each federal country, Bavaria, Baden-Württemberg, everywhere is a program, digitalization. So it's not so easy to fill the formulas, but that's also German-based, so complex formulas. And you don't get the money in 1 week, So you need a little bit time and have also a good look what is subsidized there. So some of the programs is only hardware based and so on. But also have a look, there are many other programs around this topic. So there is a program for IT security to support you with your own security framework in the company. There are programs for qualification of employees to more digital natives. So there are many different programs which are available, not so easy to find them and to fulfill the forms, but there is many money available, and mostly all you have a good chance to get it. Different in the ways how you get it, but you can get money for workshops, you can get support for security consultancy, for process optimization. So there are many programs available and not enough orders for this money. For example, if you have a look, you have this also in our schooling system, The Bundesregierung says there are 5 billion euro. So, but nobody called the money.
But so that's the same for digitalization subsidies. So the money is available, but the number of applications are quite low, so that there is abundance. That's what you mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. One quick question for the companies who would like to apply for these subsidies. Is there any consultancy needed to apply, or the companies can apply by themselves?
They can apply by themselves. So it's PDF form, and you can describe a little bit your ideas. It can be hardware. It should be software, but that's more experience from my side, because software is not so expensive and can help you faster than hardware. But the programs are very open to all these topics. What you have to do is to say, okay, that's my idea, that's my digitalization program I want to go, and for this I want support by these programs, and then fulfill 2-3 pages, that's it. And then have a little bit time to wait that you get the contract back, but it works, and it's absolutely helpful.
That's also adds to what you have said. So it's not that expensive to start, and if you even get these subsidies, it will ease your burden of the cost coming with the digitalization. So it's even easier than a lot of people think. So start small, start internally, and get expertise if you need, get a small consultancy, and then maybe apply for the subsidies and scale up your digitalization projects. Are there Anton, are there any cost-efficient ways for digitalization projects? So you mentioned a couple of those, starting small, starting with the software. But are there anything else that companies can do to be cost-efficient in their digitalization projects?
So I think if you have a look on the topics I bring to this table here, then I think you are in a very good way. Yeah? Other way can say share generate partnerships with win-win situations. That works perfect with digitalization. Yeah, give a small part of your process out of the company and bring back another part to your company, and you can generate money there. Use cheap software. Use software which is very fast in the implementation level. So don't build up all applications by yourself in Java or something like that. Use the right tooling, use the right tool set. And there you have a price range from 1,000 euro to 100,000, but the function behind is nearly the same. And that's the way you can save money and bring a fast result. I think the cheapest way for all projects, bring a fast result and use it.
Yeah.
And that's definitely the best way to reduce the costs of every project. So not only in digitalization, that helps you in every kind of project. And I think one topic which is completely out of European thinking, don't want to have 100%. If you get a first result with 90, with 80, it's more as enough for check, for get a real ROI. So this 100% isn't necessary. The last 20% is 80% of the budget.
Yeah.
And have a clear look, is it necessary to have everything 100% in place, or is it also enough to have it 90%? No risk, have a short risk view, and so 80-90% of a solution is better than nothing, and it's also much more cheaper than this 100. Yeah. And the thinking in 100%, it must be all perfect. That's also, I think, a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, I mean, if you are a world leader, you can go for 100%, definitely. But if you are a Mittelstand, good enough is good enough. We always say it for the startups as well. There's famous guy from Apple, Guy Kawasaki. He worked with Steve Jobs, and he says, when you are good enough, go. You don't wait for the perfect. So to rephrase your words, 80-20 principle applies to these as well. So if you are 80%, 90%, go for it. And I think you brought a very, very important point to the table with the partnerships. I think SMEs can learn from each other. So, and they are generally supplier of each other. So they come together within their supply chain. So one SME provides some products to the other SME. Then maybe they all go to a big automotive producer that we all know worldwide. But before that, so they have other SMEs that they are in partnership. So they can learn from their digitalization projects, what their partners did. So, or as you said, they can outsource a little bit. So they can also insource some of their partners' projects as per their experience. I think that was what you have said was very valuable.
Yeah, definitely. And also one topic directly in this, accept mistakes. You will make mistakes, and it's not a problem if there is a mistake. Accept it. You learn by mistakes. And a mistake also from your employees is not a problem. It's absolutely helpful if you handle it in the right way. And if you have a look to, for example, Amazon or so, the success is based on mistakes. Everybody can try. And if there's a mistake, okay, then we go another way. But we make a mistake and we learn from the mistake.
Yeah.
And it's not a problem. It's only a problem if we arrange all around the mistake as a problem. But if you see a mistake as an opportunity, then it helps you.
Yeah, and we don't do the same mistake again. So
yeah, learn from it. That's it.
Yeah, and that's how children learn as well. They are not afraid of making mistakes. They ask questions, and they are so curious and ambitious. So they are still asking, and once they get the answer, they ask even more questions. So that helps them to learn, and they are not afraid of making mistakes. So that the feedback is faster. So the faster the feedback is, the better you became with your product, with your implementation, with your project, whatever you are doing. But so that's also about Scrum and Agile methodology, right? Getting the feedback as early as possible so that you learn from your mistakes, that the end result will be good, because it will iterate as much as proportional to your mistakes. So that's I think a very good point as well. But you said don't go for high-end, biggest software. Go for can I say no-code to low-code software. So the ones that are easy to use, the ones that are affordable, but when you check the price and performance in the functionality, they also do the same function. So how in this case no-code and low-code tools can help the Mittelstand?
I think for the Mittelstand, this is the right tool set, because what can you do? You are much more faster. Coding is all time manpower intensive, and it takes sometimes. If you say, oh, my idea behind the project is rapid prototyping, make mistakes, change every time, in my developing process, then I think this no-code or low-code platforms are perfect for Mittelstand, and also for projects which are not completely planned, because you have sprints, you have different targets inside your project, and there this no-code or low-code platforms can be absolutely helpful. You can say, oh, I make rapid prototyping. I want to visualize the results very, very fast, because the line of business don't understand the code. They only understand the picture. They understand the page flow, but not what's in the back end. That's also necessary. But with many processes, it's very easy to automate them with low-code or no-code platforms and deliver an application. And the customers can see these applications, the employees can use this application, and also the owner of the company can say, oh, 1 week, a new process, digitalized, that's a quick win, And that's, in my opinion, is this big part in the tool chain for digitalization. Low-code, no-code platforms and tools which allows you to automate in a very, very fast, but also in a visible way. Normally, if you develop, with Java or so, you have a meeting, 6 developers, everybody very excellent and skilled. They go to their company, to their office, and come back 6 months later and says, that's the result. So, but if there is any change in this process, what happens? Communication is difficult. The interaction with the customer, with the employees, with the user can only start after a long way. And with low code, no code, you can directly integrate these guys to your roadmap, to your development, to your ideas, and can make very fast a change and can switch off mistakes. So that's, in my opinion, is this one of the topic you should use and you can use today. There are many, many platforms available who support you in this level. Also, visualization, show the customer what he get after the process of the development very fast.
You said a very, very interesting word in this, rapid prototyping.
Yeah.
And especially for production, rapid prototyping is crucial. And
Yeah.
combining this with our talk about the mistakes. So in the rapid prototyping, the most important thing is to see your mistakes so that you can fix them.
Yeah.
And if you see it first in 6 months, that's quite late. If you see it in 6 days in the very first level, and then you can iterate, it's very efficient, easier, and for all stakeholders, I think desirable, because nobody wants to wait 6 months nowadays. Nobody, even in the big companies. And for rapid prototyping, even for small businesses to go to market, you said they can, the SMEs can, for example, explore new business models, new business segments. So what's the best way to explore it? To develop a prototype and go to market, ask your existing clients that you work 20 years with, get their feedback. And if you wait 6-7 months for the prototype, highly likely it will be quite late. But if in 2-3 weeks, if you are in front of the customer and getting their feedback, you say, hey, that looks great, but you know, we can change this and adapt this. And in 2-3 weeks, customer will say, wow, you are so quick. And that's only available through rapid prototyping with minimum coding, so that we spend time on the prototype development, not the code development. I have big respect to the coders. We need them for sure. But it would be great if they code the no-code and low-code tools, and we do the business using their tools. So
yeah, sure. Yeah, you need this developer. So I think a no-code, low-code platform never ever can offer all the features for all processes which is needed.
Yeah.
So on some topics inside this process, you need the developer, the coder. But at the moment, if they do 100%, then nearly with low code, no code, they do 20%. And then they can do that much more better and faster, and not necessarily discuss and speak and think about standards. So I need a search. It's not necessary to develop it.
Yeah.
I need a connector to SharePoint, to email. It's not necessary to develop it. I want a form, it's not necessary to develop and then connect it with 500 different databases. But absolutely necessary is that the line of business can see very, very easy, are all data there I need for my business? Oh, I missed one. That's what we have in many, many projects. If we show the first prototypes, oh, there is 2 data fields missing. No, sorry, this step is after that step, it's before this step. And there it makes no sense to say, okay, let's code. And so on that level, I think it's perfect that we have now tools in place where we can say no code, low code, and then optimize it with coding. And that makes also projects much more cheaper and efficient.
Anton, thank you for your inputs. It was nice talking to you as usual. And my last question would be your top tip for the Mittelstand employees, for the Mittelstand project leaders or the company owners. What's your top tip so that they can apply right away?
I think the first step, as I describe, is speak together. And you find many, many potentials for optimization and digitalization. That's the cheapest way. Speak with the employees, speak with the managers, and they have the best idea what's missing in the company or what's wrong. And then you find a very, very fast and easy way to start with digitalization. And if everybody see it, then what can be done with this? You get the ideas from your company, inside the company. Everybody will generate ideas, and that's my think, the best topic. Then use simple tooling on the first levels. Don't start with complex tools. Don't think about complex hardware and infrastructure on the first levels. Makes no sense, yeah? Pick up solutions, pick up ideas which are very, very fast to be visible. And if you do that level, most of the other things come by the way, yeah? And it's a result of the first topics. If somebody can see it, if somebody can use it, then he also is able and also willing to generate new ideas. So start with communication, start with information, and do it what inside the company is the biggest opportunities and biggest problems there.
So
and don't wait too long, yeah.
Not only top down, but also bottom up. So
also bottom up, yeah. Also bottom up. Sure, if you can start top down with a big strategy, perfect. It's not a problem if you can do that, yeah. But that's not cheap. That's expensive, and the planning process also takes some time, yeah.
Yeah.
It's nothing you can say, yes, there it is, yeah. But if you start and then, so I think you are completely open. You can then also, after 1 year with experience in digitalization, you can say, oh, now we want a strategy. Let's start top down to combine and optimize all initiatives which are running in the company. But then you have also a feeling how expensive it is. What's the return for our company? And which are the guys who can support these initiatives?
Yeah.
And which are the right guys who can support the development? And on that level, I think that's the best way to start and to do it. And most do it. Yeah. Don't wait, do it.
So it's like start simple and do it. Just
do it. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Anton, it was so nice talking to you, and thank you for your insight. It was absolutely very, very, very valuable, and I believe for the Mittelstand as well. So it was nice having you, and liebe Grüße aus Berlin nach Bayern.
Ja, schöne Grüße aus Bayern zurück nach Berlin. Okay. Danke dir, ciao, bye bye.
Bye.